it went into your decision that he fought a guy that was 7 pounds heavy. I mean, that's not even close. So did he kind of go in with like some bonus points in your eyes?
Lost, had a new opponent 11 days out, right? So a new guy that they don't know and comes in. He's a southpaw, which is horrible, right? You haven't been sparring or training for southpaws or anything like that. Then the guy shows up and he's overweight and you still accept the fight. Then the guy comes in tonight and doesn't want to fucking leave. He's here to win and not quit. I mean, the kid couldn't have stacked the deck any higher against himself, and he still pulls off the win. He still looked good. His stand-up, his clinch work, his ground game, and his composure. How he took his time with everything. He didn't rush and go crazy. And I think that the kid has a lot of talent, and I think he's got a bright future in the sport.
With Miles Johns, I mean, you referenced his coach, Saif Sood, yelling, "Quit wrestling, Careza."
Screaming at him nonstop.
Yeah.
Don't go to the ground.
I wonder, I mean, obviously we know you're looking for all-action fights, right? But are you worried at all that, like, I mean, it was almost like he was coaching him into bad positions where maybe he could have won the fight on the ground. Do you worry that, like, people are going to take these fights differently than they should?
No, if you're the coach, you don't want him going to the ground. That guy's got a 100% finish rate on the ground. Why play into his strengths when you can stand up and stay where he's the weakest? You know what I mean? I completely agree with the coach, but I love the fact that he went on the ground, because if he didn't, I don't know what he's got against a guy like that. The fact that this guy has a 100% finish rate and he had no respect for that, dove right in there and didn't get submitted by him, actually controlled everything on the ground most of the time that he was down there. Guy's a savage. I think that guy seriously has a future in this sport.
The feature fight with Johnson, you said he's one, you love his style, but how hard is it to pass on a guy if you say, like, I love this style, but he didn't show me enough tonight?
There's a couple things. So the guy's 36 years old, number one. Number two, I like the way he fights and everything else, but on his side, Cunningham, once he got hurt and saw the power that this kid had, he just wanted to survive. He wanted to get through 3 rounds, right? But at the same time, every time that the ref would split them, he would take one step off the cage. He never tried to get in the middle and control the octagon so that he couldn't get pressed back up against the fence. There are a lot of things that he could have done too that would have probably changed my mind.
Last thing for me, you took a lot of criticism, obviously, after the last week. I know you were in China, but it was a huge story, the Locknane situation and not giving that contract. I just wonder, did you talk to the matchmakers at all about maybe finding them another spot, or do you, in hindsight, do you regret, making that decision?
No, not at all. I mean, I think that everybody knows what I'm looking for here. And while I said that kid is talented and, he's going to, and I also said if I'm wrong, he's a free agent and anybody can pick him up. So if anybody thinks I'm wrong, show me. Show me that I'm wrong. And, what better position could you be in than a kid, coming off the show, he wins, and people think that I made the wrong choice. So if that's the case, there you go. There's a free one for you. Lock him up and he's all yours. I'm looking for guys that when you show up here, we all know what this show is about. This show isn't about this isn't the Ultimate Fighter and you're going to win, you fight all these times and you win a contract. This isn't a fight night or a pay-per-view and stuff like that. I have five fights, and I have to pick somebody who I think can come into the UFC, make a huge impact, break into the top 5, or be a world champion. That's what I'm looking for. And it was a dog fight. Loved that fight. It was a great fight. Both kids put on a good fight. And there's 10 seconds left of the fight, and you're gonna shoot. If he fucking wung it out at the end of the 10 seconds, I probably would have picked him. I'm looking for different things on this show. I'm not looking for what the sport is or what the UFC, how you call a fight in the UFC or judge a fight. That's not what I'm looking for here.
Mr. White,
and this is the second time, I'm sorry, you tried to ask me a question 3 times. And this is the second time this season that whether it's Bisping or whoever didn't have the same picks that I had. That kid Kyle's super talented. Kyle's 26 years old, okay? He's 26 years old. He had the mount and didn't really land any damaging punches from the top. He's 26 years old. The guy's a baby. He's not even in his prime till he's 28, 29. He's got 2 years to work on all these things, and he's undefeated. What I don't want to do is bring him in early, put him in against some animal that's in the UFC who gets that top position on him and rains down on him because he couldn't stop somebody from the mount. It's just, I think that he has things to work on. I think he's got plenty of time, and I think he has huge potential in the future.
Sir, if a fighter misses weight on Contender Series and the fight still goes ahead, would they be eligible to potentially earn a contract or just their opponent?
It's a good question. It's actually a great question. If you look at that kid that missed weight tonight, right? And you look at the type of fighter he is, the shots that he took and got back up, the body, anybody who's involved in fighting and is really involved in fighting has been fighting before. And you take a body shot like that, and he knew that if he didn't get up, I guarantee you he didn't want to get up, but he got up. I don't know, there's things like that that you look at and everybody messes up, and he had 11 days notice. And the thing that pisses the matchmakers off is he had 11 days notice. Sounds like a great excuse, but they had 3 other guys that they could have picked that would have made weight. And that's what drives everybody crazy and pisses everybody off. But when you see a guy fight like he fought tonight, if he pulled that win off and won, it'd be hard to say no.
Have you ever considered having alternates on deck in the event that somebody has to pull out?
Unfortunately, we've never had to have that. We've never been in that situation until this season. So, no, we haven't. But yeah, we probably should.
Dana, can you talk about basically fighters giving you what you want versus just surviving the fight and trying to win?
Yeah, I mean, like I've been saying, that's not what we're looking for. I'm not looking for guys to survive. Like this kid. I mean, you heard me say it. Yeah, but I gotta look at his stats. Justin Gonzalez, right? I was so excited for this fight. So this kid, I don't ever count amateur fights ever. This kid's 19-0 with amateur fights. You gotta count him. And if you look at his opponents records are 52 and 15. You never see that, right? Then, so I'm so excited for this fight. Then you look at his finish rate. It's non-existent, his finish rate, and you see why when you see the fight. The kid is an awesome wrestler, and he can control you and pin you. I saw opportunities where he could have took the back so many times. He actually had the choke in, but only had one hook in at one point. And, wasn't really, he was very comfortable in staying where he felt safe, not being aggressive and trying to finish the fight. And you can get away with that for a while. Then once you start to go up the ranks in the UFC, you can't be that one-dimensional and get away with that. No, it's not what I'm looking for.
Dana, you explained tonight the matchmaking and the contract situation, but let me ask you, has there ever been a night that you've been close to saying, you know what, maybe no contracts tonight, and would you be opposed to that maybe in the future should the situation maybe call for it?
Yeah, it hasn't happened yet, but yeah, I mean, hopefully it doesn't happen. It's a bad night if we don't give out a contract, but yeah, it could happen. It could definitely happen.
It's still early in the season. Last season we saw a couple times where guys were given either a developmental contract or told they're going to come back later on in the season. Is that still on the table for this year as well?
Yeah, we could do that still. I just, like that kid Kyle that I talked about a minute ago, he's with a good team. There's nothing about that guy's game that I say, oh, we need to bring him into a new camp and do this. He's with a good team. He's young. He's super talented, and he's going to do just fine. He just needs some more work, and I don't want to bring him in too early. There's no need for it.
And just a general question, do these guys, is there a standard Contender Series contract that these guys get when they win, or do they win and then you negotiate a contract individually?
Yeah, so they and I don't know how the contracts are done. I don't know how they do it, but the matchmakers sign a deal with them. Yeah.
And then, Dana, one last question. As far as Cunningham, I know that he fought it last year and last season, and then now coming back this year. Did you see improvements, or what were you Cunningham in the last fight? What were your thoughts on his?
Well, I don't want to say that I didn't see any improvement in the guy. I mean, the guy got clipped. He got hit by a dude that spars with, all the murderers over at AKA. I mean, this guy trains with Cormier every day. He's sparring with Cormier and guys like that. So. He's seen it all. Guys have tried to take him down, guys have tried to, probably knock his head off, and So for Cunningham, going in against a guy like this is tough, especially when you get hit right out the gate. There wasn't really much to see. It happened fast. He got hurt. His eye blew up, and he wasn't going to take any chances after that, But when you think about what this show is and why you're here, he actually should have gone out to the middle of the octagon and went for it, tried to finish the fight. Because that eye is only getting worse every round. It's not going to get better. And you also run the risk of the ref stopping the fight. I thought for sure the ref was going to stop the fight in the third round. Because there's no way you can see out of that eye in the third round. Impossible. So I thought the fight was going to get stopped, and the thing you saw in Cunningham was no sense of urgency whatsoever to stop the fight. What you saw from Cunningham is he didn't want to get finished, and he wanted to go the 3 rounds. And that's what happened. And, the AKA kid couldn't stop him. And if you can't stop him, who are you going to stop in the UFC when you get in that position?
Dana, I don't think that there's much value in getting into like a ton of different hypotheticals, right? But one question I would have is that if some guy came on and he just had unstoppable wrestling, your lightweight champion has unstoppable wrestling. Yeah. Some might call him that he has a little bit one-dimensional, but he has an unstoppable gift. If there's a guy out there like that, do you want him on this show if he's a wrestler?
So did you see Habib when he fought Edson Barboza?
Yeah, well, and I said I wasn't like making a direct comparison to the guy, but I'm just saying if there's like a very dominant wrestler and that is how he wins, is this the right show for him, or would you still value?
Sure. If you're a dominant wrestler, I didn't see dominance tonight. He dominated in the wrestling game. Never did he try to finish the fight. When he had positions that he could do, he didn't do. You know what I mean? He played it really safe tonight. He could put this kid wherever he wanted to wrestling, put him against the fence. He could move him down to the ground if he wanted to. He could have done more, but he didn't. So my thing is, I just got to see you for 3 rounds. You're a dominant wrestler, I get it. That's all I saw. What else do you got? What happens when you get into the UFC and you get against him, you're up against another dominant wrestler? And now you got to bang it out with this guy. I didn't see any of that. I saw a guy who looked very one-dimensional, played it literally as safe as you could play it, and I didn't get to see anything. It's like, when we were just talking about the Savage, his corner didn't want him going to the ground. I know that this guy has 100% finish rate and wants to get him to the ground. So I would have had to wonder, I wonder what would have happened if they went to the ground. And I wonder how that guy's ground game is. I didn't have to wonder. He showed me. So did Miguel. I saw everything. I saw the whole game. You can, I'll give you an example. That kid could come on The Ultimate Fighter and win The Ultimate Fighter. But you can't get in here unless I see everything and see what you got. Or the big myth now, after last week, I'm looking for finishes. I'm not looking for finishes are great. Listen, if finishes happen, like if he came out and knocked him out in the first round, I still would have liked him as much, but I like that I got to see everything. Puna didn't finish, but I signed him. I saw a lot of things with him. His takedowns were strong. When he got the top position, he didn't stop punching. Whether it was to the body or to the head, he was trying to finish the fight. I just saw a lot more out of him and a lot more potential.
Cool.
Good?
Thanks, Dan.